New today, freed Tufts University student Rumeysa Öztürk is speaking out after spending 6 weeks in an ICE detention facility. Immigration agents wearing face masks snatched Öztürk off the streets of Massachusetts as part of the Trump administration crackdown on pro-Palestinian student activists.
In the last 45 days, I lost both my freedom and also my education during a crucial time for my doctoral studies. America is the greatest democracy in the world, and I believe in those values that we share. I have faith in the American system of justice. Thank you all. And finally, I will also remind one more time, please don't forget about all these wonderful women in the immigration detention systems.
Joining me now is Mark Leibovich, staff writer with The Atlantic, MSNBC political contributor, and author of Thank You for Your Servitude, Donald Trump's Washington and the Price of Submission. Welcome, my friends. Good to see you. So Öztürk struck a hopeful and optimistic tone there in that very surprising, I guess, soundbite we played, considering what she's been through. Or does it reflect a greater fear of autocracy, both where she was born and where she now lives?
I would say probably both. I mean, I think obviously she knows that for as much of an ordeal as she has been through, at this point when you're going to go before cameras, you are, in some ways, performing for people. It's a political statement to some degree, and the court of public opinion really does matter in these cases. And you want to, portray yourself as a sympathetic victim here, which frankly, I think many people would say that she is. It is a very delicate situation. Obviously, I think. Clearly, the White House thinks they have the politics on their side. But also, I mean, the question of the optics of how it looks to have university students, doctoral students, plucked off the streets, literally, as we're seeing here, is quite problematic to what it means to be American and how this country perceives itself.
Following the arrest of Newark's mayor outside an ICE facility in New Jersey, a Homeland Security spokesperson is now threatening the arrest of House Democrats who were also at that facility. Here's what Mayor Baraka had to say today.
I just think it's about intimidation and bullying. This is like moving us slowly towards an authoritarian kind of government here, where they are telling people they can't come to a public place. They can't go onto a facility to even get a tour. We weren't protesting. Nobody barged in. We were there peacefully.
What is this escalation signal to you?
Well, it's definitely an escalation. I mean, I think, when you go, but you're arresting judges, arresting mayors, threatening to arrest members of Congress, you do start to wonder, I mean, what is this just intimidation, or where does this end? And is this going to be just the way this continues to go in the next few weeks? I mean, I don't think this is going to continue to go without a lot of commentary. I mean, I think this is the kind of thing that will over time certainly get the attention of a lot of people, and it could probably incite a lot of protest and certainly concern, and we'll see where it leads. But it's obviously a kind of step that you don't see very often, and we have not seen in this country in a long time.
Yeah. Hey, Mark, just want to let you know we're getting some breaking news, and it's pretty big. And what we're hearing, having been confirmed by Steve Witkoff, confirming to NBC News that Hamas intends to release the Israeli soldier Idan Alexander. He is a dual U.S. citizen. Apparently, Hamas has been in contact with the U.S. administration over the past couple of days, and they are immediately trying to begin some intensive negotiations and exert some serious efforts to reach a final agreement to end the war. This is all part of what we're hearing, but specifically from Steve Witkoff and the White House, confirming that Idan Alexander will be released. Again, a remaining citizen, a remaining hostage, a dual citizen, both Israel and the United States. You hear that. What does that tell you, aside from the hope that his family must be feeling, relief and joy and the like? But what is that big picture messaging?
Well, I mean, first of all, anytime a hostage is released, it's a good day. It's good news. You
Absolutely.
Hope it portends for more hopeful future. Right. So that's something to feel good about right there. I'm not obviously privy to the negotiations or where it might be headed, but I do think that certainly you got to take this as a sign of hope and hope that this is going to lead to other things. But I also think that, as we know, I mean, anything in the Middle East, you got to take any sort of sign or hope or optimism with a grain of salt. But this is certainly a great development.
Are we certain, given some recent reporting, that Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu are right now on the same page? There has been suggestion that Netanyahu isn't entirely pleased with some of the things that Donald Trump has been proposing relative to the war and implementation of certain things.
Yeah, I mean, I think typically, Netanyahu and the Israelis in general are a little bit hesitant to think, or at least perceive, that the Americans are calling the shots in some way here. I mean, the Israelis have been very kind of protective of their autonomy, especially as the negotiations get driven. So, I wouldn't be at all surprised if certainly in private there's a lot of back and forth and a lot of perhaps even misunderstanding about where either side is going to go. I mean, it seems like, if you take them at your word, I mean, everyone wants peace, but at the same time, there are different definitions of how to get there from these parties, and this is nothing new in the Middle East.
As I look at some information we've been given, and this is, again, from Hamas's point of view, the suggestion is the release of Idan Alexander will be part of the steps taken to achieve a ceasefire, to open the border crossings, allow aid and relief to reach our people in the Gaza Strip. It all sounds like a very, very tall order. But the fact that this is a dual citizen, Israeli and United States, the value afforded to Idan Alexander for achieving this kind of negotiating, being this kind of a valuable chess piece, if you will, does any of this seem realistic to you? All of these things that Hamas says is working toward, realistic to be accomplished?
Yeah, I mean, every time, a hostage is released, it sort of becomes, to some degree, a spin game to sort of listen to what both sides sort of think they're getting in the deal. And obviously, it looks like Hamas is coming out of the box, pretty fulsomely here about what they think they're getting. Obviously, there are two sides to this story, and actually multiple sides to where this heads from here and what they've agreed to and what, where everyone is on this final deal. But look, I mean, this is, again, you would hope that it portends to greater progress, greater dialogue, and so forth here. But again, I mean, the grains of salt you have to take this with. History shows us you just have to wait and see what actually transpires after the flurry of words you see in the aftermath of these releases.